Hey guys, we're here on the episode It's in Everything We Do. We got a special guest with us today, Dr. Phillips. We're going to talk about conversation today is lack of emotions while in relations, whether it be relationships, friendships, etc. The more vast majority of the conversation can be in so many different areas. Uh, let's just talk. Let's have this uncomfortable conversation, Sway. So, what do you think about Dr. Phillips when a person has a situation where they have like certain kind of friends or a person that they deal with that they know have good character but bad habits, and then they try to be there, be supportive, but they know at the end of the day that person is inconsistent with their follow through, and it just goes left sometimes. So
it's like draining them of their energy.
Yeah.
Quick question. All right. When we think about if we know a person's behaviors and we know a person's MO to some degree, it becomes a question of why am I not following their lead?
Okay.
I mean, yeah, common sense is in everything we do, but we're just like focusing specifically on the lack of emotion.
Yeah, the emotions behind it because
I mean, you can include the common sense in what you're saying about the lack of emotions. All of it ties into each other.
Yeah.
But the focal point is
the lack of emotions. Yeah, because for me,
yes.
So give me the question again, Joe.
So what do you do when you're trying to deal with a certain individual in your life where you're trying to show support with them, but due to their bad choices or their decision making skills, it's hard to have that support emotionally for them because of their bad decision making skills?
Well, I think in anything, I have to stay true to who I am. Right, your lack of accountability or your lack of responsibility is not going to be an emergency for me. So my ability to set my own boundary, right? I don't have to bail you out. I don't have to keep showing up for you. Or if I do show up for you, I'm going to be very authentic in my emotion to you because there's an emotion there. I guess the question is, how comfortable are you expressing that emotion? There's an emotion for me. I would think if I had somebody in my life that kept calling on me and the reason that they were in trouble was because they didn't make good decisions, I would assume that my emotion would be I'm angry. I'm frustrated. Okay. So again, I think it belongs to the individual. Are we talking about emotions or responsibility? Because if I am feeling some type of way because of your recklessness, then I have the ownership to explain that to you.
That's kind of difficult sometimes in a position where it's someone you care about. Or give an example. So we can make this a little personal. So like my father, our relationship, it's not the best. But dealing with him, I have to deal with him with less emotions instead of more emotions altogether because he is a person that created a lot of trauma and triggers for me. So my way of like dealing with him in general is I have to deal with lack emotions, just strictly on platonic of just taking care of it, whatever the situation or the dealings that we gotta take care of. I can't look at it as like, oh, that's my father. I gotta do it that way. You know what I'm saying? Because of the traumas and triggers he created over the years and the things of knowing that even if he's changed things like that or he's gone through certain avenues to make our relationship better, but I gotta carry it a little different because my emotions that's tied with it that I gotta go with my decision making.
So because you put that out there, can I ask a question? Because you know me,
sure.
You know how I go. Who made that rule? Like, why is that a rule? Because that's almost like eggshelling, right? That's an inability to be authentic in whatever I feel. And I don't believe that based on role, responsibility, obligation, or titles, that we should change our ability to be true to who we are.
I like how she said eggshelling.
Yeah, that's
Because
eggshelling.
when you're helping someone, you are kind of walking on eggshells. Your help, it's like the average person who asks you for help tends to want to dictate how you help them.
Mm.
Instead of just accepting the help. You're the one in need. And I'm speaking from my own personal, when I, like I said, my story.
Right.
You can't afford to dictate how a person helps you once you ask that person for help.
Mm-hmm.
You can't bring titles into it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to no physicians. No offense, but I don't want to talk to no doctor. I don't need my friend.
Oh.
You know what I mean? The titles is what mess friendships up.
Mm.
If you coming into to help me with your title before who you originally, like she said, you got to be true to yourself. Yourself is that person. You are a person before you are a title. Title is title. Title means nothing. And when certain situations come up, you need a friend, like kids. You don't need that parent. You don't want that disciplinary person. You need mom. You need dad.
Mm.
You need that friend.
I have a question. Why are we, and I'm just going to throw it out there, and I say we, I'm just talking general, people. Why are people afraid of emotions?
Because where they take you to.
Because people don't want their feelings hurt.
I just think
people
it's
scared.
where your
people
emotions
scared that
take
they're
you.
going to lose. Like everything is like a helpless competition.
Mm.
When you're approaching it as a competition, you already lost. Because then you bring something like business. You can't bring your feelings into business. Business is emotionless. BI is BI. People don't separate work from home.
That's hard to do sometimes.
It is hard to do sometimes, but it's not impossible.
It's discipline.
Like Miss Phillips here, Miss Phelps here. I'm sorry. How do you say I don't want to say your name wrong. I see Doc Phil on here.
That's it.
It's Phil. Okay, I didn't want to disrespect your name.
That's my husband's
somebody.
name. Not upset.
Okay, because I was getting ready to go on the talk show with that, and have a little bit of fun. Like, wait a minute, I know Dr. Phil. A little stuff. But you can't bring your feelings into everything. That's what hurts.
Why not? Yeah. What feeling are we talking about?
It depends on what situation you're dealing with. Like I said, business does not involve feelings. You bring your feelings to a business meeting, you're going to lose every time. You can determine what's right and what's wrong as far as business is concerned, but you can't have your feelings involved in it. Feelings bring expectancies. Expectancies lead to disappointment. Now you're all emotional about a deal that didn't go through.
Okay, I can see where you're coming from.
People will commit suicide because they don't know no other way to live.
Oh yeah, when people lose out on money, they jump off bridges.
You're born into money.
Yeah.
Born into your money.
They jump off of bridges.
You don't know no other way to live.
Why do we only associate emotion or feeling with a negative aspect? Because my passion is a feeling. Passion is an emotion, right? So if I show up to a business meeting and I say, you know what, I'm passionate about this business. I am in touch with my feelings around this. I am committed to this. I am, today we are behind schedule of what we planned, but because my commitment to my word, emotion, all right, I'm committed to my word,
right?
And I have enough emotional regulation not to allow anger, frustration, or all the other negative feelings that could potentially exist in this situation show up. Right. So I think when we talk about emotional, sometimes people are afraid to look at emotion outside of the realm of derogatory content, meaning anger, fear, crying. Women cry all the time. Men are angry all the time. I think if we're going to have this conversation, we have to debunk those ideas about what's acceptable in expression of emotion.
And it's like you said, what you just said is like you determine whether to bring your feelings into it. Sometimes if you know when, it's like you got to know when to bring your feelings into it and when to leave your feelings out of it. Like you said, we started behind schedule. If you brought your emotions to the table, you would have been upset that we were behind schedule.
Well, I did bring my emotions to the table.
I know, and we eliminated that by just saying, look, Black people are late to a lot of stuff.
But
you should be used to it.
But we
know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying as far as, we started behind schedule. If we all brought our feelings to that being behind schedule, like, God, about time, man, dang. But we know sometimes with this technology thing, there's going to be technical difficulties sometimes. Put your feelings to the side about that. Take care of the technical difficulties, and then we start fresh. Long as we get started, sometimes we're going to start late. I'm pretty sure there's times in your world where you're not on time for everything.
No,
do you bring your feelings to people when they upset with you?
No,
like that, don't worry. Look, I'm here now. Right?
But
you separated your feelings. Practice what you preach, Doc. Come on.
But look what we did. What we did was called emotional intelligence. I said, y'all playing with my schedule. You said, sorry, we messed up. We didn't realize that this was going to happen. I said, okay. So I don't think that we avoided our emotions. I think we were just adult-like in dealing with something that was completely beyond our control.
Yeah, but can you still see that we had to not include our emotions and feelings in that decision?
I lost you. I can hear you, but I can't see you anymore. Absolutely. But I know. I'm sorry. No, I don't, because I think our feelings were communicated. Right. What you're saying is avoid. We didn't avoid them. I said what I said. You said what you said, and we dealt with it correctly.
And moved on. Yeah.
Right.
But if the shoes were switched, what if on your end there was technical difficulties and we were selling you stuff like, y'all playing with my daggone time. Y'all know I'm militant with my daggone time. What would you have said to that if we said that to you? And be honest, Doc.
Oh, I am. I'm always honest. He must didn't read.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I would have, same thing. I would have said, I'm sorry. Do you guys need me to reschedule? Do I need to? I would have offered options. Right.
Okay, I got you.
At the worst, and I am again. I speak from a place of privilege because I teach emotional regulation. Right. I teach that. So I believe that emotions should show up. I think that as adults, we should just be responsible and adult enough to have the intelligence to self-regulate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be.
I don't know, Doc, because emotions ain't been my good chat, like my good friend to handle sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of people
because it takes me places that I don't. Not saying that I don't know how to handle it, but it's the lack thereof that I have to deal with. Like I don't have enough empathy, sympathy, compassion to it sometimes because it doesn't click all the time with me. And I be trying to figure out why it doesn't click with me, but it don't click too well. Sometimes I think it's just because maybe the stuff I've been through in my life, the experiences I've had, the relationships that I build, people come in and out of my life. Some people stay branches, some people stay leaves, but the roots of the people that's in my life, they hold more of emotional dead to me than anything. So if I don't label you as a root in my life, then it's kind of hard to have an emotional, strong connection to you.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of people can speak on stuff easily until that situation presents itself to them. Mm-hmm. Like I can have all the answers to your problems until your problems become my problems.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, even with Miss Phelps, even with her, she can have all the answers to everything. Like you in a doctor's position, you're supposed to know what you're doing. But then when it comes to your own personal life, you could be lost in the sauce. It's that easy. Everybody can help everybody else, but you can't help yourself. Like you got these therapists out here like Dr. Phil, no pun intended, Doc. But you got him. How perfect. Just like they said the old saying, for every finger you point, it's at least 3 pointed back at you. If I correct you, that means I got to be that much more in line with my life because you're watching me even more.
Absolutely.
Because I'm able to give you advice on something. Now, if I go to the hospital and I say, Doc, this is going on with me, blah, 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 blah. So she issues a prescription. She issues the solution to my problem. So that means if the same thing happens to her, she's supposed to know what to do. It don't always work that way. Like we got the answers for everybody else, but we don't have the answers for ourselves.
Well, we shouldn't have the answers for ourselves. Have you ever seen a surgeon do his own heart surgery?
Oh, that's deep.
So we shouldn't have the answers for ourselves. We should.
Busting upside the head, Doc.
And this is right. If you are a person that do not believe that I pour, and then I need someone to pour into me, I need someone to develop me, then we got a whole different issue, right? We all need people that can polish us and develop us. But in order to do that, and I think what gets in the way of people having this thing called emotional intelligence, they are afraid of emotions. And before I look vulnerable, before I look weak, before I look angry or crazy, I will just avoid. And when we when we see that in relationship,
because of fear of self-exposure. Fear of your own self being exposed and helping somebody else's problem. You putting yourself out there too.
Oh, snap!
You can't it's like I said, I'm no longer religious. You know, my own thing. I don't knock nobody. Whatever makes you a better person, I'm with that. You know, that's why me and you still remain brothers. You know, we come from the same field. We just chose our own road, but we still know what we can and can't talk about with each other.
Yeah.
That right there, we take our feelings out. I don't expose me. You don't expose you. We can go break bread.
Okay.
You know, when we put our feelings into it, we start telling people words like, well, what you should do is this. What you need to do is that. Now you're offending the person. You know? And that's where the emotions come in, where you have to remove certain things. Like you can't bring your emotion. If you helping somebody, you can't feel sorry for them every time they trip up. Sometimes you got to kick that tough love out. Like, look, I done did that part by now. And I'm speaking from my own thing.
Not everybody can handle tough love.
Exactly.
Not everybody, because tough love takes you to places that you don't know if you were always meant to be there.
And like
when I get there,
a lot of women say, timing is everything.
Yeah.
You can bring the tough love in, but you got to know when to bring the tough love in. Like, look, I done gave you all of this compassion.
Why does love have to be tough?
Why does love got to be tough?
Yeah.
Because you got the people that you call
the truth
bleeders.
Got to be tough. The truth and honesty got to be tough.
You can't bring in, when you issuing out prescriptions, you know, if you have that level of say so in your field, you issuing a prescription, you can't have your feeling like, well, I really feel sorry for you that this medication didn't work for you. You're not going to admit that you were wrong. You're going to issue another damn prescription to them. Well, try this one. We're going to run some tests. Hold up, a life on the line. I ain't got time for tests. What you talking about? But see, they know already. They deal with it. Things you deal with every day in your field. You deal with like when my first son was born, you know, of course I got two sons. When my first son was born, I brought my feelings into that. How come y'all not checking on her? It's been 2 hours. I'm in the hallway ranting and raving. She in here every time she's like, why y'all not in here checking?
Because it's contractions.
My feelings took me out in the hallway.
Oh.
If I had to subtract, I'd be like, well, they deal with this every day. Everybody in here is giving birth today. They got more than, it's not just us in the hospital. It's other people they got to tend to. Doc got to make her rounds. You know what I'm saying? You bringing your feelings into it. Doc ain't going to care about your feelings. I
So
do this every day. They yanking my man out of the canal by the head. I'm like, be careful. They do it every day. There's no feelings in certain things. That was a crazy example, but I hope you got it.
tough love. Can I lend another idea to it and maybe
Please do.
Please do.
maybe call
Help
it
yourself.
maybe call it boundary setting? All right.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
if I made my decision, and I'll go back to the very thing that Jabez asked in the beginning, like, do you help somebody that you know just make reckless decisions? Right? Can you take your emotions off the table and say, I'm not going to do this? Where instead of seeing it as tough love, I love you. Nothing about my love is going to be tough here. But my boundary is I took and I paid my bills when I got my money. You got your money and you took and bought a flat screen TV. My boundary is I am not going to money for you to choose not to pay your bills. Right? I haven't blamed that person. I haven't said you reckless. I haven't cussed them out. I said my choice about my money is as follows. Your choice about your money is as follows. The boundary that I'll have to set is if you do not pay your bills, please do not call me as a backup plan after you have recklessly used your money. Nothing about my love is tough. I still love you. However, the boundary that I need to set for me, because if I bail you out every time, I'm then going to be frustrated with you when you make poor choices again.
Right. So therefore, you just removed your emotions from the situation.
No, but you created
that's the
that
tough love.
boundary
That's after
to
that.
protect
Yeah, she had that. A boundary thing. I love the boundary point she just made.
That's a boundary.
I absolutely love that. You have to have, but then you got to kick the tough love in though, because you do get frustrated constantly saving the same person. But you're making the same mistake over and over. It's not even a mistake. You're doing it on purpose.
That's the definition
because
of
insanity.
you
know that person's going to come and pull you out of the water. Then you got the nerve to have your feelings is going to have the nerve to have an attitude when I decide to now not pull you out the water. Like she said, don't call me no more.
Yeah.
Because you keep spending your money on bullcrap knowing you got priorities. But you done grew used to me doing this for you. I learned the hard way in that lesson. That's why I love the way she worded that. I learned that too. Nobody's successful without making a mistake. You can't learn from always being a success. You only learn from your mistakes. If anybody got an opinion on that, let me know. I've never seen nobody successful that did not make one mistake. So like she said, I'm gonna keep quoting you because that was a big ass point you made, Doc. I freaking love that. You spoke directly to a situation I used to be in. I was that leech at one point. Then I learned the hard way because they kicked tough love to me. Tough love could just be no more communication. It don't have to be verbal. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just can't reach that person. Like if I was that person, you just stop answering your phone because you already know what my phone call entails. It then became habitual that you rescue me. You keep giving me that fish instead of teaching me how to fish. I know you old school, Doc. I know you know what that meant.
I know exactly what that means. I want you to learn how to you can eat all week. If I give you a fish,
I had to learn how to fish for myself. Knowing that you still, and once you learn how to fish for yourself, those people that was in your corner won't mind being in your corner. Because now they know if you need them, it's a real emergency, not just a save me again type of thing.
Right. Because I'm reckless.
You can change it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I love what you said at the time when you said it. Because I was that person. And I learned the hard way. A lot of lessons I learned the hard way. Like y'all said before, the stubborn thing. Everybody got different levels of stubborn to deal with. But once you get over that hump and you realize, I can do this on my own for myself. I'm doing it for me. I can't keep asking people for help. It's causing me to lose sleep at night. That's me.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like a man in my own world. You know, everything I do now, it's just me. Every bill that's paid, it's just me. I don't have nobody to split my bills with. So in order to get to that point, and I'm pretty sure you either can recognize it or you've been through what I'm getting ready to say. Once you remove that safety net, you start taking things that much more serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell by what you have written on your cup, on your mug. You've been down that road. You call yourself boss lady for no reason. Get out of here. You got accomplishments under your belt. You're proud of that. But at the same time, you still have to remain humble.
Mm-hmm.
You can't start holding your nose and looking down on people, because karma will take that from you if you abuse it. You know, this man here put me on with a job. I will always love and appreciate him for that. That's priceless. I can never pay him back. He won't acknowledge it. I'm used to that. But that's not going to stop me from giving him that love. He gave me that love. I'm just trying to give it back by paying it forward. Whoever helped you to get you in your position,
can I ask
you can never pay them back. You can only pay it forward.
Right.
Sure.
Can I ask you a question about men that I've always wanted to know?
If only we can ask you a question about women.
If I can answer it. How do you all feel about men crying?
Men crying?
Can men show their...
Wow.
You said I could ask. Can men cry? Can men show their vulnerabilities to us in relationships, intimate spaces?
Pardon my pig Latin, but hell yeah, because y'all find that shit sexy, doc. I will drop a fake tear just to get you to give me that daggone that treatment.
In my experience, no.
Why? Because this is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about why we can't show emotions, and the initial parts of this was like I feel like we were talking anger, explosion, raw, angry, unhealthy emotions. What about sadness, tears, anxiety, fear?
No. You want to go first?
In my level of experience, no, because that level of vulnerability to a man is it's portraying an avatar that you want to take back and paint it differently and create a new one. Because I don't know what that moment going to take you to, or what picture I painted when I cried and I showed that sadness that you may try to repaint and bring back again later. So you're going to hold that.
So then you is scared. That's what you said. You scared. You're scared to be vulnerable.
Wow. Yes. Why is that S word always the first word to come out with?
Yeah, I'm scared to be vulnerable.
Scared. Why is it always an ego thing?
Listen to what he
said. Okay, now it's our turn. Why do women want to see men so emotional? It's not our natural field. It's y'all's field.
Who
it's
said
natural.
That?
It's natural.
So
we're supposed to be men about it. If we cried in front of you, you're going to still treat us like that same alpha male?
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
You're going to still be my king.
When it's considered. Go ahead.
I understand that you are human, right? Outside of your testosterone, because guess what? I need to see you in all seasons. If you're going to be my king, I need to understand what you look like in the summer, what you look like in the winter, who you are in the fall, and who you are in the spring. I need to see you in the light and in the dark, so that I can understand that when the rubber meets the road, I gotta ride or die. That I know that not only is he strong and he's gonna protect me, right? Because guess what? Ain't nothing happening to Dr. Phillips that ain't gonna happen to Mr. Phillips first. I'm clear of that. But I'm also clear that when he's hurting and when he's wounded and when there's something that he needs me to know, it doesn't make him less of a man if he, to me, and I'm talking 30 years with the same dude, right? It doesn't make him
Congratulations.
It thank you. It doesn't make him less than a man because he can have 4 seasons of emotions. And
Now,
it's
that's
safe.
old school.
Well, I
This
can
new
challenge
school
that.
don't see it that
I'm
way.
gonna challenge that because
This new school don't. This new school, he's about to give you the new school of
these people today, Doc. You know they you want to see them on all 4 seasons, but I'm not a seasonal worker.
You light skin, you are seasonal.
No, I'm not. But I'm not a seasonal worker. You know what I'm saying? I come out hibernate. You know, I come out every now and then. I come out when it's good weather.
Why?
Because let me tell you what people take with emotions, and you have relationships, and they use that to be the rope that either bond you with them or hang you from them.
Who these people that you talking about? Like, can we get them all in therapy?
I wish. We got to look. They got to want to come to therapy first. They got to want to have therapy first.
What we're talking about then are unhealthy expectations. Because guess what?
When I say expectancies lead to disappointments.
Say that again.
I was saying you just brought up the word expectancies. And before, earlier I said expectations. Expectancies lead to disappointment.
Right. If I got these erroneous expectations about who I can be, right? Because same thing I talk about for my man. He needs to understand that some days I'm strong. I can hold it down too. I don't have to work 4 jobs. I got us too. Right. So when we're talking about a healthy relationship, it must consist of some emotion. It has to. Because I think when we try to avoid it, it's just like a cup running over. We keep filling a cup, eventually it's going to explode. So people that don't know what to do with emotions all the time, when they do show it, it's like, dang, is you mad or no? Because you never really express what is bothering you. Right. And I'll give an example. If we're in a relationship and you don't like something, and I'm gonna go real deep. You don't like an outfit that I wear, but you don't say nothing. Right? I don't know nothing about how you feel about me wearing these clothes. And then I keep doing them. And then I go out and some dude say, "Oh, you look good." And you then curse me out for wearing slut clothes. You wait a minute. Whoa. Why we wasn't talking about how you feel about this outfit? So if I'm scared of emotion, that also means I'm scared of conflict. That also means that I'm scared of communication.
Wow.
Scared of being open to you about what I need and what I want. And when we think about, and I do a lot of work in the Black community, so I don't know who your audience is, but I'm going to speak to my community. Men, I need y'all to change this philosophy that I can't be vulnerable, I can't be weak, I can't express emotion. Women, I need you to give him space and place for that. Encourage that, and then be strong enough, right? I can talk to my sisters. I know how petty y'all can be. Don't be getting on Facebook to this nigga in front of me. No.
I appreciate that, bro.
This,
I love the balance.
Nice. No, girl, please go up and give your man a space because even if Ron, I know you say you're not biblical, but I'm gonna say something about a woman in the Bible that everybody thought was ratchet. Delilah, right? Samson laid his head on Delilah's lap and he trusted her, although she was a snake and she cut his head off. Sister was bad with her game. She was bad with her game because she was able to get him to lay in her lap and trust her enough that he revealed all his innermost parts with her. And if we think about why men are scared, we can trace it all the way back to that. She tricked him. So these women got to be wise enough. We got to be wise enough to sharpen our king.
And stop playing games.
Stop playing games.
She was a game.
Yeah. And I understand.
But not all these women are not a lot of these women out here are built to be queens.
But and it's like
some of them need to stay concubines. Some of them need to stay maids. Some of them need to stay servants. Some of them need to stay lost. Some of them need to stay out the damn kingdom. Every woman wants to wear the crown, but the problem is y'all don't know how to tilt the joint. Y'all don't know how to wear it correctly. The problem.
Go in.
The only reason
Go in. This is uncomfortable, bro. Go in. Don't worry about how nobody feel about it. Go in.
These emotions
we doing this for.
that women want from men today, they want them because they want to understand them. They want to understand how they are, but they don't want to understand where they're from. They want to understand why they're there, but they don't understand what it takes from the what. Like, they don't want to understand it through and through. They just want to take it situation by situation. And the thing is, with emotions, it's not situation by situation, because the same thing there's something that can make me angry today can make me angry tomorrow. It may be a different thing that made me angry tomorrow, but I got anger. Now, how I express my different.
I know your anger. Do you trust me enough to introduce me to your anger? Or are you?
Hell no. There ain't no man out here trusting.
See, so that's
Hell no. You know why? Because you do you trust me enough? Do you trust me enough with your level of financial stability?
Absolutely.
You don't trust me enough with your financial. No, absolutely. Not a lot of these sisters. Not a lot of these women out here trusting a man. No, because if they can't trust a man to provide for them, how can a man trust him with his heart?
But so then this goes on both sides then, that we all need some work and some support around developing this, right? The only reason a queen is a queen because she's been groomed for such. She's been groomed her whole life for her seat. And because of the
how you gonna be groomed as a queen from the concubine? How you gonna be groomed from a queen from the person that's mopping and washing the dishes? You gotta be groomed from a queen. Not everything that states is a queen, because we got a lot of imitators and illusionists out here. They crowning themselves using thorns instead of real crowns. Let's speak biblical.
Well, you can see I believe I'm not a queen because I say I am. I know I'm a queen because of my lifestyle and my labor. My life speaks for me, and I have legacy behind it. Right? I have legacy behind it.
You breed. You breeding queens.
Right, I breed.
You breeding queens.
So, and these are just not my biological girls, right? I believe that I am a mother to my community, and I have no problems pulling a young lady up saying, "Sis, why are we seeing your breast? Sis, why are we seeing you? Give them a little something." Right? And I get some people cuss me out and get mad at me, and I need to mind my business, but I don't. Because I believe I believe in the value and worth of everyone. And I believe that everyone lives through chapters of their life. And where you pick up in the chapter, had you known me back in the 80s, I wasn't this polished. I'm real good. I'm real honest about it. I'm real honest. But it took some development. It took somebody to believe in me, to see something in me, to want to pour into me, to want to teach me how to grow and evolve into my identity.
I say this. She grew through what she grew through.
Yeah.
So you grew through what you go through.
Yeah, I grew through it. I grew through it.
So a lot of people, let me chime in on that real quick before I forget my point. That's where a lot of people get it twisted. You weren't born with what you have and or what you know. So how can you ever hold your nose up to somebody? How can you ever look down to anybody when this information, this help was provided to you? Because you was at that point where your ass was in need of something. Somebody came and helped you. Some shit you can never pay back. You can only pay it forward by doing that for somebody else. But you got people out here who once they receive something, all of a sudden they chest swole up. They better than you now. They're talking down to you now. You can't touch them on the level that they're on now. Nah, because then karma comes in and said, "Oh, you thought you was the shit, huh? You never met me, huh? You know I could take this in a split second. What took you years to build, I could take from you in a second. So don't forget where you came from.
that's a heart condition, right? When we talk about people's inability to still meet people and reach people where they are and be there for people, that's a whole different that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different show that we can podcast on because that's a heart condition. I am real
Yeah, we
clear.
got topics within topics.
Yeah, I'm real clear and through that my knowledge and my education and my knowledge, skills, and abilities is for my community. It's for my people because I watch us bleed out, and I'm just being honest. I watch us bleed out in ignorance and repetitive patterns of behavior that have been passed down to us. And if I'm just honest, not too many people are sitting at the table with their children asking questions. How did that feel? Tell me what your experience was with that. Don't introduce type of dialogue, especially with our boys, right? In the community,
that's another whole topic too.
Right? Boys don't cry. Boys look weak. Girls are the ones that are weak. And we grow up with these foolish ideologies that we continue to pass to the next generation. And our men don't know how. And I speak to that. I speak to that from guilt, right? I raised my son. I nurtured my daughters. My son is a provider. He works he works hard, he takes care of his family. But emotionally, the baby had to go to therapy because mama didn't teach him how to really express what he felt. He was groomed to be a provider. He was groomed to be a protector. He was groomed to keep it moving. You got to do what you got to do. So we have to kill some of these things that we are steady doing in our own community and let our kids and people express.
God rest my mom's soul, but my mom, she raised me to be a man to cry less, fight through the pain. I know it hurt, but fight through the pain. Because if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And in doing that, I learned to have a conflict with compassion, emotions, understanding. These are things, these skill sets I should have learned at a younger time. I'm learning in my adulthood, but I'm learning through traumas and triggers in certain situations that it's hard to understand when to use them, when not to use them. And the problem is I'm going through it and learning it at the same time. So I'm getting the information and I'm trying to hurry to learn how to use it. And that's hard to do. I guess it's hard to cope with something that you're just learning a skill how to use. Like I just learned how to use this and now you want me to use it. Like that's a little real.
Well, why do you think the motor vehicle
makes time? I mean, you're gonna have to get hands-on experience anyway.
What you said?
Why you think the motor vehicle make you have a provisional license before a permanent license?
No, she did. No, she did.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. I think she did. I think she did so hard.
She's not playing.
Right?
She's not playing.
Playing no games.
You have a provisional license because you need someone in the car with you to help you become fully licensed to drive alone. And there's a period of time that although you have the skill, right? You know how to use your mirrors, you know how to position your flashers and your hazards and all of that. But the state needs you to demonstrate evidence that you are ready for this level of responsibility to handle this 26,000.
Her selection of words.
To handle this 26,000 pound class.
Not showing off with the vocabulary.
To prove that you can handle this, you have to have a certain amount of hours before we release you to independence. So what makes you think if you have practiced your entire life, this communication, this vulnerability, this showing up emotionally in spaces, that suddenly you're going to read a book and be expert? It's not real.
Boy,
it's not.
Got people out here, Doc, they live by books.
It's
Then you
not.
got people like me, natural type of realizations, what we call aha moments, especially amongst us as a people. We have aha, we're born geniuses. I don't care what nobody says, we're born geniuses. We know everything. We don't you realize something. You don't just be like, oh, that was new. You're like, oh yeah. It's an aha moment. Other people, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Doc. I got to pause on
she
that.
hit it on the nose
Doc.
right there. She
Yeah,
took it to a whole
Doc
nother
flowing.
level.
Doc flowing.
I would have never looked at it.
We have to extend ourselves some grace when we are learning things about ourselves, right? There's this new, I think it's kind of, I'm just going to say it. Everybody's on to trauma. Everybody's on to, there are these buzzwords that we keep using in our community as though now that we know, suddenly we heal. No, we don't have time anymore. We don't have time to be making excuses and blaming and, my mama did this and then her daddy did this. And we have to take accountability. You know what? I'm getting ready to get me a coach. I'm getting ready to get me a therapist. I'm getting ready to get me a trainer. I'm getting ready to do whatever I need to do to overcome these fallacies that have kept me
attracting. Got to stop somewhere.
Right?
The
because
excuses. The excuses.
Yeah.
We keep attracting the same person because we're the same person. We keep getting in the same relationship because we are the same person. So it's time.
She's touching the definition of insanity.
Yeah, it's time to introduce.
She's touching the definition of insanity. Yeah.
A new person. And the only way that we have to learn how to really perfect this emotional, intellectual regulation is in the space of a licensed professional. I ain't gonna judge you for crying on my couch. I take care of, in my practice, I take care of frontline war fighters. They cry all day in front of me. All day. Frontline war fighters. But I know they're going to protect me. They know I'm going to help them. They know I'm going to say, I love you. Thank you for your service. Holla at me. And later they say, Doc Phillips, I ain't cried since I was 7. I'm like, you lying. You cried yesterday and you 34.
And even in your field, Doc, you really got to know to subtract your emotions from situations.
I don't subtract my emotions.
For real?
No, she got to use them to help get to that deep of that core.
Got that to see that's
she got to help to get to that deep of that core.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. But like she expect you to be lied to. Like doctors expect you to lie to them.
I don't.
Yes.
But still help them. I mean, I'm saying in general, not saying you, not singling out, but in general, the majority, doctors expect to be lied to because their patients ain't gonna come and tell them the real truth of why they're there, but they want that cure. And you can't, as a song, I keep on saying it, you can't heal what's never revealed.
Right. That's what I say. Are they lying or are they in denial? Are they lying or is it still hidden?
I don't know. My grandfather said, if you don't tell the whole truth, you're lying. If you're not telling the whole truth, what are you telling me?
But what if it's your version?
I'm telling you what I'm comfortable with. I'm
Yeah,
telling you what I'm comfortable with my emotions and my
you
emotions, my sense of readiness with this emotion that we're having a conversation about, that we're making it okay to go furthermore. You're having me address an emotion that I haven't addressed since I was 7, but now I'm 34, and I'm still feeling the same thing I felt when I was 7. Now that I'm 34, I still don't like the way that shit make me feel now. I'm not feeling it. Because at the end of the day, even with my licensed professional on the side, or the person that's skilled enough to handle every emotion that drops out of me, that comes from me, that even emotion that visits me, that person know how to handle those emotions because they mastered those emotions to be handled. That's their skill set that they learn. But it's hard to communicate with somebody that who don't feel comfortable enough to understand the emotion that they're giving off. Like, it's hard to be emotional with your woman if my woman keep looking for me to be emotional about some things,
Mhm.
or when I'm being frustrated. Like we said before, when we women expect us to read their mind, and we keep being frustrated about it to read a woman's mind, and then finally don't. I get an attitude, or I get frustrated. I'm tired of reading your mind.
Because you
Like,
shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to.
yeah,
To be able to say to you that I need this, I want this, I would like to do this. I refuse. Well, first of all, I got too many things on my mind for you to have to read them. So I need to be able to have an index box where I can say, baby, this is what I need, or this is what I want. But I challenge every listener. I don't know who your audience is, but I'm going to throw a challenge out to every Black man that's listening. I challenge you to find you a therapist and say to the therapist when you call, why you coming to see me? Somebody has told me that I have a problem expressing my emotions. And give yourself the gift of 6 therapy sessions. 6. Give yourself the gift. I think everybody that has lived longer than 20 years of life deserve to have a 6-session model.
Now break this down for our listeners. What do they need to pay a stranger to listen to them for?
Because everybody else that's been listening to them ain't fixed them.
But therapists ain't help nobody.
It's who?
Therapists will tell you themselves that they've helped 0 people.
I wouldn't say that.
You don't have to. The therapists themselves say it.
Well, I'm not sure.
That's willing to admit it. They've helped nobody.
Well, I don't.
I'm just saying for the people who have an issue with therapists that don't need to, that they feel as though they shouldn't have to go talk to nobody about something that they only can relate to theoretically. Because the average therapist ain't been through what they in the field for, like experience-wise. Like we was talking about earlier, who would you gravitate toward being more? A person who's theoretical or a person who has experiences?
Well, the issue is, and I think that's a real biased, limited view, because most therapists come to the profession based on their own lived experiences. So because we can't tell it, right? In a professional setting, I can't say, my husband was on drugs for so many years. I was struggling with codependency. I was struggling with, because I'm in a professional space. So I can't lead that in my discussion. Right. So the assumption is that the therapist is only here because they have a degree. But again, I pose it right back to the question. When we need a heart transplant, do we ask that cardiologist, when's the last time you took your heart out and put it back? We
can't afford to answer that question because we already trying to figure out how the hell we're going to pay for this.
Right.
Insurance ain't going to cover us so much.
We don't go to the dentist and ask the dentist.
But that's true.
Right.
That's true.
We only have these biases and fears around our emotional health. And when I advocate in my community for my men, because women, we get it, right? So many women are in therapy. So many women are hiring life coaches. So many women are leveling up. Like, it's like the new word, level up. But men are still afraid and avoidant. And I think it's really important to shift the narrative a little bit. Don't see it from a place of, I'm going for mental health treatment. No, I'm going for emotional wellness. Right? The same way I would check out.
Is it the same?
Huh?
Is it the same? Is it the same? like is the help, is the receiving of, is the level of help the same? Because a woman will go, and I give y'all props for that. Y'all will go and get the help you need. Where we are hesitant because we don't get the same treatment because we're men. And let alone the fact that we're melanated men.
By who? What do
treatment is going to be. I can't say by who, because it always depends on who you go to for help.
Is this an assumption or a lived experience?
Kind of both. Kind of both. So, I went to a therapist one time. That
Okay.
therapist repeated everything that I was already saying. So I'm like, I don't need to see you then. You saying everything I've already said before.
Okay.
I didn't help people out. You don't need a license to help somebody.
Okay. No, you just need
You
a
really
license.
don't. You may need a license to prescribe medicine,
And
but
to
you
get
don't need
paid.
a license to help somebody in their life. And that's what I'm saying. How much emotion goes into it when it's a business for one side and real life for the other side?
Well, I
Do
don't
you
want
bring all of your emotions?
my therapist to show up emotionally for me. Because if I'm crying, she better not be crying too. All right. I need somebody in the space. I need somebody in the space to have some rational content for me to get through. But I think when we look at emotions in a frightening way, there's an indicator there that something about me is stuck. There's an indicator there that I might need somebody with a plunger to help me get unstuck from here.
Plunger. That's a lot of pressure applied.
Yeah, something is
You had to been there for a while.
Yeah, something is stuck. It is like a level of constipation. When we can't be emotionally available, it's evidence of some constipation, whether it's trauma, whether it's fear, whether it's evidence of some constipation.
Gotta love her wordplay. She ain't playing with her words, but you gotta love her wordplay.
Definitely.
Constipationally, you emotionally constipated.
Yeah,
I love it.
we need a laxative.
I freaking love it.
Huh?
No, I'm just saying, I love it. You said we need a laxative.
We need a laxative. Do some of this, right?
Man.
This is
You should have been here in person. I'm mad at you, Doc.
Well,
you should have came here in person. This would have been so much more.
Y'all, we got to do a part 2. I'm with you.
No, you already invited back. You owe us a personal visit now. You're in debt, Doc. I'm putting you in debt.
All right, I will cash.
Bring Boss Man with you. I would love to shake his hand.
Oh Lord! All right, I'll bring him. But I think this is a deep conversation, right? This is a deep conversation because we have been conditioned in our community, and I accept it. I accept men. You all are our warriors. We all need, and I am a girly girl that need to be covered. You can ask Jabez. We work together. I'm a girly girl. I ain't gonna lie. There were things because I would set some stuff off. Right? We worked together. He was security, and I would set some stuff off, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt he had my back, and I love him so much for that. Right? Because he that's who he is. Wasn't nothing gonna kick off. Nobody gonna hurt Dr. Phillips, and I knew that without a shadow of a doubt. I knew it, and I still know it. But I need you. We need you. I'm being really honest. Healthy women need healthy men. Healthy men breed healthy boys. Healthy men breed healthy communities. If we're gonna be real about putting our kings in their rightful place, we need to be able to trust you all and understand who you are in the light and in the dark. And we don't want you all to have to read our minds, and we don't want to have to read yours.
Bro, us as men, we need to know. Men need reinsurance too, and our reinsurance is a little different than yours. Our reinsurance as men is knowing when we choose something wrong, we failed, we didn't succeed, we have an incomplete, and we didn't see it to the end. We need you to know that you're going to still be there no matter what. And queens, they say they queens today. Some of these queens will swap you out soon as you don't.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish it though.
They will swap you out soon as you don't comply.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm just so angry because you just made. Oh my God, man. Women, it's just like you saying, y'all. As much as y'all need us warrior kings and all of that stuff, we need to know because all you have. our confidence comes from you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Every bit of strength that we have is your fault.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that in a good and bad way. Mm-hmm. All you gotta do is to say something like, baby, they can't beat you.
Oh.
Don't handle yours. We are invincible after that. Because why you think you all that? Because my lady said I am.
Yeah.
That right there is what I think he's treading on, because that level of confidence, it makes us invincible.
But then you see it.
We are really Superman.
Media. We have people looking at Barack or looking at Will and Jada or Kevin
Not
Gates.
Not so much Will and Jada.
You sitting here looking like
situation. That was a situation. They recovered.
Yeah, but you see stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you see stuff like this, and you like, this is the world we live in. Like, like we can't find that kind of strength anywhere.
Like even I'm gonna take it to music. I'm gonna take it to R&B. The songs from back when we were young.
Yeah.
I'll be 2 years away from 50 in July.
Me too.
Okay. So go ahead, Brett. Go ahead, Doc. So the level of love in R&B is not there anymore.
No.
I miss Queen Anita Baker.
Woo!
Not one song talked about a man in a negative light. Not one.
Rapture.
Sweet Love. The closest. Doc. Right. Doc. And check it out. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Doc. The closest she came to saying anything negative, if at all, about a man was the one, I don't know the name of it, but I think it's Fairy Tales.
Yeah. When she yelled at him.
It's called Fairy Tales, where she was saying, she was like, it wasn't like my mother said. Mm-hmm. That was the closest to negative she ever sang about a man. We don't have that no more. Our strength comes from our women. But the R&B, the songs today ain't expressing that no more.
I gotta ask something.
Okay.
Oh God, how can I say this nicely?
There's no such thing. Just say it.
Where you fishing at? Because if you fishing in a dirty river, sorry, sisters. If you fishing in a dirty river,
don't be sorry right now. They need to hear this too.
Not done your research, right? And I think this is what happens in our community, right? Oh, she look good. She sound good. What does her mama look like? What does her grandmama look like? What's the lineage? What is she coming from?
That's old school.
If she's coming from somebody who mama still, and I'm sorry, y'all done invited me here. Y'all done made me miss taco night. I might as well go all the way in.
Go in.
And if men are not doing the work of thinking about where I'm laying my seed, where I'm building my legacy, what do I want, right? We're talking about return on investment. I'm not putting stock that ain't making no money. I'm a business. I'm not putting my money in no stock that's damaged. I'm not putting my money in no bank that hasn't not proven itself to have a worthy reputation. So if we keep attracting people and picking up people that we got to fix because they broke it and I got to be a hero and I don't know how to take my cape off and it ain't safe for me to lay my head down, I'm going to need men to do a little more research, right? We were real clear about who our children were going to marry. We were real clear. And there was some investigation and some family time and some intermingling and let's meet. Bring them on over. That's my husband. We're going to cook on the grill. Bring them on over. So if y'all, again, and women, I'm a daddy's girl. It's horrible. I won't even be ashamed of it. My daddy rolls the red carpet out for me. My husband knew he was inheriting a whole needy chick. He knew that.
The bar was set. Dad did his thing. He set that bar. He set that bar. When she brought him home to meet dad, that means he had to remind her of dad in some kind of way.
And the reality was, and as much as I love my husband, God knows I do, but my daddy had already laid a foundation for me what men should be. So if he couldn't level up and he couldn't measure up and he couldn't show up, holla at us. I'm not even parking here.
Mm.
So, I think what we
She said, I'm not even parking here.
here.
Yo, she said, I'm not even parking here.
I like that now.
When we talk about what we want for ourselves, we got to make sure that we're doing a job interview where somebody's qualified to meet the cut, to make the cut. And that doesn't mean that, we're not going to grow together. We're not going to develop together and we're not going to evolve together. But if I had done my research, I'd already known you didn't have any keeping power. I'd already known you didn't know how to rub me on my back and say it would be okay. Mary J. Method. I already knew
that. What you know about that, Doc? What you know about that, Doc?
That's our theme music. That's me and my husband theme song. When he was wearing brown uniforms for the federal government,
right.
So you got to do your research before you say, let's hook up, let's connect, to make sure that this person is coming from a lineage and where they feeding from. Right? If we keep looking for bottom feeders, sorry, at some point we have to make sure that we top shelf. So I'm attracting top shelf. Otherwise, I'm just drinking some dollar store whiskey and I ain't about that life.
Wow.
Dollar store. Never saw any alcohol in Family Dollar, bro.
Down south, you do.
You gotta go.
Yeah, they got alcohol in Kmart. That blew my mind.
Yeah,
Down south, they got alcohol everywhere.
So that's just my thoughts. And
gas stations got beer.
They got beer, but I gotta go to taco night. But I've enjoyed this dialogue. I've enjoyed this discussion. If I had to say anything, and I have wrote it down, I think when we talk about how to show up emotionally, the first step is to have some self-awareness. Who am I? Who am I? Second step is to be able to have some self-regulation. You know what? I'm angry right now. We ain't gonna be able to talk about this. I'm upset right now. I come back when I calm down and think about this because I don't want to turn nothing up in this house. Right? Some self-regulation. Right. We gotta show up with some empathy for the people that we love, like or know. All right. I can respect you enough to understand that we're not meant to be, or I can respect you enough to work through this. Then we got to have the motivation. And the motivation stems from, do I stick and stay and work through it? Or do I choose me and bounce? Whatever the motivation lens is, I have to have the willingness to do it. And then the final, we have to have social skill. Because guess what? If I don't know how to be social, I don't know how to fish for a network and a community that I feel safe in to release my truths. We need a community that we can be true through and through. Whether I'm crying, this community still loves me. Whether I am sharp as a tack, this community still loves me. I do not have to wear a mask amongst my community. Thank you all so much for having me, Dr. Phillips.
Thanks, Dr. Phillips.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks for being on the episode. It's everything we do. We appreciate everything.
Everything.
Peace.
Peace.